Good morning, dear friends. Today I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to show you where I create, show you my space. I'm going to call this Introduction to My Studio. But as you'll see, I have to compromise a little. I don't really have a designated studio, but I'm starting at my front door and just want to give you a little sense of what it's like to be up here in Oakhurst on our street, in our home, painting. I like to see other people's studios and how they create and how they adapt to their limitations, and so I thought others might like it as well. I'm going to be quiet for a minute and just show you the surroundings so you can hear the birds and see what it's like. Cars might drive by every now and then, but let's see. Thought I was going to be able to turn it around. I'll just turn it this way. So this is our entrance. You come down the driveway, park up there in guest parking or down there, then walk down the steps. Such a beautiful spring morning. Got a little bit of miner's lettuce blooming. I'm looking forward to the rest of the wildflowers. And this is our front door. So join me. I'm going to show you where I store my art supplies, and then I'm going to set it up. So over here, I have in our bedroom, I have a cabinet with art supplies in it. And then I have a bookcase here, and it's not cleaned up. It's not organized right now very well. But I have art supplies kind of scattered everywhere. So, and even this little entry, kind of a space that's hard to know how to use it. I bring in this little table, this little bistro table that I normally have outside. I bring it in the winter so I can sit in front of the fire. I'll move it back outside soon. And then this, I used to keep my china in it, but I got rid of my china because I just wasn't using it. So now I have art supplies in here. Get my brushes. And then this is the dining area. So sometimes I work on this. This is a pad that protects the wood table. And a lot of times I work there. And this is, again, I used to display kitchen stuff, and now I'm displaying mostly my paintings here. And I just want to show you, so this is my kitchen, and this is the main area that it's easy for me to paint with the granite counters and the water and the sinks. It's just very convenient, especially with watercolor. I use a lot of water. I cleaned up, I've been cooking a lot, so I cleaned up and stacked some of my art supplies over here. And but I just want to show you my setup. So because my husband's a photographer, I've got all these little tripods and things. So this is what I've been using to attach my phone to record the time-lapse videos. And I have to use this step stool. When I get the camera in place, I can't see what's going on, so I use this step stool. And now I'm going to attach the phone, my phone, to the tripod and show you how I set up my studio. And I'll probably do that in time lapse, so it'll be faster. Hope you enjoy watching me set it up. Thanks. Okay, I have my basic things here. I'm going to do a little video and show you some of the specifics. So I have this little easel box. I think my dad got this for me at a flea market. and it's very lightweight. I could take it out plein air painting if I wanted to, but I like it. It works well here on my counter. So just open it up, and you can see how it adjusts this direction. So I usually adjust that first. Oftentimes I use this to hold my iPad because I paint from photos, and I like to look at my iPad. I print out my image on paper to do the grid, but then when I start painting, I like the resolution and the clarity of the photo on the iPad better than the printed version. If I printed a high quality photo on photo paper, then it would of course look better, and I've done that before, but right now I don't do that. So let's see, let me adjust this a little bit. And then this is foam board, and I just use this for a white surface, but I also sometimes use it for taping the paper down. I think I'm going to tape the paper down today. And then I'm going to move this out of the way to show you. Move this closer. So this is my I've shown this before, but this is my palette, and it's just a cheap little travel palette, but I just, it works well. I've thought about getting a bigger one, and I may at some point, but it seems like counter space is always an issue. So this is a good size, and I use my tube paints to refill every now and then. It's another project. Maybe I'll do that today. And I like to set it on a paper towel because sometimes it slides if I don't. And I also don't like the sound of the plastic scraping when it moves. It just doesn't feel stable. There's a sponge that I use sometimes. And I filled water containers. I have a large one for cleaning the brush and a small one for clean water. And I use a squirt bottle for misting bottle for dampening my paint before I start, and for doing it periodically. So I just spray it in to activate the paint. Helps me get started a little easier. And then I try to use more rags than paper towels, but I do both. And I use paper towels, napkins, and tissues. The different thicknesses makes a difference. And when they dry out, you can reuse them, which is a good thing, especially right now. So I keep a couple clean ones over here, and this is for just dabbing off and drying as the, let's see, how am I going to do this? I'll arrange it like that. Okay, and then I'll move over here so you can see. This is my container I use for keeping my tube paints organized. I love this thing. And I forgot, I think it might be, I don't remember if it was just a craft supply box or if it was a fishing tackle type box. And I don't remember exactly where I bought it, but I love it. Some of these compartments are, you can remove the divider and change the size. And I like just to keep things organized. Back here I have gouache, which is the opaque paints. I don't use very much. These are, little tools and doodads. And then I arrange by color. And then that way when I get ready to fill my palette or choose a color, I can jump immediately. These are the oranges, the pinks and reds, greens, blues. violet, yellow, and this is the burnt sienna and burnt umber, the browns. There's some gold and silver from Japan. And in fact, I think I'll go ahead and refill my palette. I'm a little low on some of the colors, so I think I'll start over a new video. So that's, oh, and then I also have a ruler and a B pencil or an HB pencil and a kneaded eraser for doing my drawing. And here's an example of my reference photos. I print them just on regular paper. These are some of the things I'm thinking of doing. There's the another koi, another geisha. It's not a very good photo. It's going to be a little difficult, but I think I could brighten it up. And a tree. So these are the three I'm considering doing next. And I would draw the grid on here, then draw the grid on the paper, and then transfer square at a time. And then use my iPad with the photo to actually do the painting. So that's my basic setup. This is what it looks like, kind of all put together in position. I'm not going to move my iPad yet. And there's another thing I wanted to explain. I have this bar stool that is adjustable and has a footrest and a back. And that's really helpful for me when I'm painting. So usually when I start my painting, I stand. I sit when I draw so I can be really still and accurate. And then when I'm doing the first big washes, I like to stand and look back at, step back from it. And I don't know, I feel like I'm a little more loose when I'm standing. And then when I start working on the details, I sit because I need to protect my back and be comfortable. I just wanted to explain that. Okay, well, the last thing that I forgot to put in the video from before is the brushes. And I have this lovely container. It's important to me that what I keep my brushes in is lovely. And this is a ceramic pot that a friend that I met in Japan made for me to hold my brushes, and it works perfectly. So I set my brushes here. Sometimes I have to move it out of the way. And then I have another paper towel where I set the brushes while I'm using them. So I might start with a large wash. So have that there, and I go smaller. Kind of depends on how large my painting is, but actually I usually don't start that large unless it's really big. So I might do the washes with a large flat brush and then drop in color with one of these and then start working smaller all the way down to something like that. So that's my setup, and here's my apron. I like to wear an apron. So just wanted to add that. Time to get painting.